That's right. Homosexuals, drunks, and terrorists all in one breath. With us now, Louisiana native Ellis Hennigan, columnist for Newsday, and Zerlina Maxwell, contributor to The Griot. Welcome to both of you. Ellis, distinguish, if you would, please, what you heard from the president in that Rick Warren forum, which is typical of what he was saying in 2008, and what the Duck Dynasty star has said more recently, because a lot of people on the right are saying they're indistinguishable.
You know, Michael, I was listening very closely to the president. I didn't hear him compare a gay lifestyle to bestiality or promiscuity, and I certainly didn't hear him saying that boy, those Negroes back in the Jim Crow day had such a happy time. They were singing and dancing all the time. Completely different things. I mean, he's right to this extent. America's views on gay marriage have shifted a little bit over the last few years, but there is no comparison to what Barack Obama said in the first campaign and what Papa Phil was saying to GQ.
And Zerlina, I took a close look at the GQ magazine itself, because the stunning line to me, and we just said, is the way he lumps homosexuals, drunks, terrorists.
Right.
If you're gay in this country, you're at the same level as Al-Qaeda and those who killed thousands of innocent Americans.
Right. I think that, you know, the problem with these types of remarks is that, yes, in 2008, President Obama was against marriage equality. But as America has evolved and the president has evolved, most Americans, younger Americans in particular, feel that people should be able to love whoever they want to. And tolerance does not mean silent acceptance of offensive views. It means that you can say and think whatever you want, but you are not free from consequences. And we are able to speak up. Those who are historically marginalized, people of color, and homosexuals are able to then say, you know, what you said is not okay, and then maybe you shouldn't be able to have a television show and make millions of dollars in cable news or on a cable channel.
Ellis, let's talk about the politics of this. I'm not surprised by some of those who have rallied to the Duck Dynasty cause. I was a bit surprised that Governor Huckabee was in that group. Is this the sign that he really is running for president in 2016?
Well, it's a hint. Listen, Michael, it's a real big country out there, and, you know, there is always an audience for people who want to say nasty stuff about gay people or black people. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's even bad or ineffective pandering, because you know, I mean, there are people who like hearing that stuff. But you know, the danger, I think, for Huckabee and for Republicans more broadly is that while that kind of language appeals to the base, Phil Robertson is exactly the wrong kind of mascot for the Republican Party, right? He's this backwoodsy, long beardy, ignorant seeming. If Republicans think they're going to broaden the tent by embracing people like Phil, that's exactly the wrong way for them to go. It may please a few folks, but let me tell you, it guarantees a shrinking party.
I guess this is your point. It fires up the base, but it doesn't expand, as you say, into the middle. The Duck Dynasty's comments produced a wave of reaction from the right. And here's some of the highlights.
To me, this is an issue about religious liberty. So an issue about freedom of expression. It's about the fact that the left keeps saying they're for tolerance except for people that disagree with them. You know, it's stunning to me, after all those antics, that Miley Cyrus would still be on TV and Phil's the one getting kicked off.
Sarah Palin, wearing a camouflage print, also weighed in.
This is all about freedom, free speech. You know, so many American families have spilled blood and treasure to guarantee Phil Robertson and everybody else's right to voice their personal opinions. And once that freedom is lost, Sean, everything is lost in our country.
And Texas Senator Ted Cruz weighed in with this statement, quote, "The reason that so many Americans love Duck Dynasty is because it represents the America usually ignored or mocked by liberal elites. In a free society, anyone is free to disagree with him, but the mainstream media should not behave as the thought police, censoring the views with which they disagree." Zerlina, take that statement on from Senator Cruz.
Well, I just think this is not censorship. You know, Republicans like to cite the Constitution and also the Bible, and they don't understand either one of those things. The Constitution does not say you are free to say anything, and then we all need to just accept your intolerance and not say anything about that. It says the government should not censor you. And so as a free citizen, just like Governor Sarah Palin, I'm allowed to say what Phil Robertson said is unacceptable and discriminatory. That is what the First Amendment allows me to do as well as a citizen.
Ellis, should the man lose his job for this? Can the market sort it out? I bring this up fully aware of the fact that Cracker Barrel may be the ultimate red state restaurant. You know, I think of Whole Foods as being the grocer to the blue states, and I think of Cracker Barrel as feeding the red states. Cracker Barrel did an about-face. Initially, they weren't going to sell the Duck Dynasty gear and so forth, and then they said they apologized to their constituency, and they said, no, we are going to sell it. And I'm wondering, should the market just take care of all the bad behavior that's out there and let people judge accordingly?
You know, I got to tell you, I think I'm okay with that. I mean, first of all, I am always, Michael, one breath away from saying something totally stupid, okay? So,
Me too.
I mean, and I think anybody who operates in live in the public sphere recognizes, you know what, we all say dumb stuff, and we all, don't want to be one syllable away from being fired for the next stupid thing that we say. And in the end, people have a right to express opinions. If a television network can make a ton of money, as A&E is with Phil and his kin, is it any worse than, the Mafia Wives or 50 other shows on TV right now?
Well, Zerlina, there was a PR executive who sent out an appalling tweet this week. I'm sure you know what I'm referring to, it concerning AIDS in South Africa. And I thought it was despicable. But I'm not so sure she should have lost her job for that. I'm not so sure that the Duck Dynasty guys should lose his job for what he had to say. I mean, let people vote with their feet, let people vote with their wallets. Does that make sense to you?
No, it definitely makes sense. I think that nobody has the right to a cable show. And if it's up to the executives at A&E, and also Justine Sacco, it was up to her employers to decide that what the tweet that she sent out was unacceptable. With her, I think it's the fact that she was a PR professional and didn't know better than to send something so racist and offensive. That was why that became news.
It shows that she's ill-suited for her job. If as a PR executive, that's what she thinks is appropriate for her to send out via electronic media.
Right, and not knowing that it lasts forever.
Thank you, Zerlina Maxwell. We appreciate your time. Up next, Duck Dynasty.